to Wandering Whispers Instructional ASMR, and I accidentally, when I originally shot this, I accidentally didn't have my microphone plugged in, so I went through and talked throughout this whole thing, and the only thing that picked it up was the actual video camera, and it was not picking it up very well. So I figured I could just go through and just do a little bit of a whisper vlog, or not even a soft-spoken vlog for you. It's been over a week since I've put up my last video, and the reason is because I was I had to go out to Colorado to deal with some personal family issues. I was able to take care of that. However, it did take up enough of time that I wasn't able to get any actual videos done. When I originally went out, I had planned on doing some, but unfortunately, it was just, it was too much. I had too much going on. Although, I will talk more about that in a future video, because I got some interesting stuff that I want to show you while I was out there. And I also got some other items to help me out. So even though I wasn't making videos, I was definitely still in a ASMR mindset, if that makes any sense. For the peacock feather, you can see I just put some glue down. What you can't see is the clipping that I'm doing. I'm clipping each one of those pieces, and if I would have been able to save the audio, you would have been hearing me clip the pieces. What I've been doing is clipping them underneath the table. So with where I place the mic on these instructional Mosaic ASMR videos, versus where I clip the pieces under the table, it dampens the sound enough to where it's not as jarring as it was with some of those first videos. So, while I think I do have that figured out, I obviously still have to remember to plug in my microphone and hit record, all those super complicated things that Alright, whatever, I don't know where I was going with that, other than just laughing at myself. So, I'm not sure if you can really tell, but there's a gradation to this, to the colors in these glass tiles, that wasn't present with a lot of the glass tiles that I used in the Wandering Whispers mosaic. And the reason is because this isn't actually, these pieces that I'm using for this mosaic are actually scrap pieces of stained glass, I think. A lot of them are actually translucent, and and then some aren't, and have a darker hue to them. So even though all these green pieces are like the same type of green, they some are darker, some are lighter, and I really like that. That way you can kind of I don't know if you can tell, but you can create a little bit of a shadow effect with it. Now, I didn't do the greatest job with this one, although I did try and do that a little bit. If you look at the lower half of the feather, I've tried to add more of the darker colors towards the lower half and keep the lighter green on So, let's see. I guess I'll talk a little bit about so I guess this pink pad that you see underneath the tile here, that's a cat bed. I'm using that so that when I set my tools down, like the tape or the knife, or put some tiles down, that it's not loud on the table, and it also cushions anything so that it doesn't bump the microphone and make it shake around. My cat, not a big fan of this bed, so that's why I used it. She never really used it, so I figured I would appropriate it. So yeah, put a little more glue down and just starting to just put some offshoots off of the main feather. And again, just artistic interpretation of the image. If you're going to do something that looks like a painting, you would want to do a different style. You wouldn't want to use Mosaic style you'd want to use a Pietra style, where you actually carve pieces to be the correct size and put them all together, which I've done before. Actually, while I was out in Colorado, I got to see the big piece that we did, Pietra, and it was amazing. I need to get some pictures for you guys and maybe show you some of my previous work. It took up like the whole wall. My aunt has it. It was her business, and that we built it for. Although now it's just her personal piece of art. I'm not sure if she would ever sell it at this point. I don't think she would, even though it's worth a lot of money. We built it as a showpiece, and it's got a lot of memories for her. Anyway. So, I think I guess back on the Pietra thing, one thing I'll mention, I'm pretty sure the Taj Mahal is the largest Pietra because it's shaped stone. Each piece was specifically shaped and fitted together into one giant piece of art. Although I am not positive of that. That's just something that I was told. Since I'm full of ums and ahs and I can't seem to come up with a lot to say, I figure I'll just read a little something from National Geographic website, animals.nationalgeographic.com /animals/birds/peacock. I figure I'll just read you this, and we will, that way we can both learn a little bit about peacocks, and you won't have to hear me go and duh, that kind of thing. So, peacocks are large, colorful pheasants, typically blue and green, known for their iridescent tails. These tail feathers, or coverts, spread out in distinctive train that is more than 60% of the bird's total body length, and boast colorful eye markings of blue, gold, red, and other hues. The large train is used in mating rituals and courtship displays, and can be arced into a magnificent fan that reaches across the bird's back and touches the ground on either side. Females are believed to choose their mates according to the size, color, and quality of these outrageous feather trains. The term peacock is commonly used to refer to birds of both sexes. Technically, only males are peacocks. Females are peahens, and together they are called peafowl. Suitable males may gather harems of several females, each of which will lay 3 to 5 eggs. In fact, wild peafowl often roost in forest trees and gather in groups called parties. Peacocks are ground feeders that eat insects, plants, and small creatures. There are 2 familiar peacock species. The blue peacock lives in India and Sri Lanka. I hope I said that right. Sri Lanka? I'm really bad with names. While the green peacock is found in Java and Myanmar. Burma, sorry. I won't try and pronounce that, obviously I slaughtered it. But they've got in parentheses here. Burma. A more distinct and little-known species, the Congo peacock, inhabits African rainforests. Peafowl such as the blue peacock have been admired by humans and kept as pets for thousands of years. Selective breeding has created some unusual color combinations, but wild birds are themselves bursting with vibrant hues. They can be testy and do not mix well with other domestic birds. I mentioned in a previous video that, I had grown up near some people who had a peacock, and I can attest to their testy nature. They definitely don't take any crap off of anyone. They're not afraid to run down a 12-year-old, 6-year-old, whatever. I don't remember how old I was. But generally, male birds, that's not that uncommon, honestly. I grew up in a farming community that raised turkeys, and so my first job was shoveling turkey crap. And the male birds, the male turkeys, the toms as they called them, were extremely aggressive, and you had to make sure that you didn't bend down and make yourself small. Basically, you could, if you face them, they're scared of you. But as a young kid, 8 years old, it can be a little scary when a 40-50 pound turkey comes racing at you. And these are huge turkeys, type of turkey that you don't fit into your oven. A lot of the Thanksgiving turkeys that we had raised were hens. They were grown to be a lot smaller than the toms. But large male birds, such as the male peacocks or the turkey to tom turkeys, can be extremely aggressive, and those two wouldn't get along. You wouldn't be able to I mean, I guess stranger things have happened, but I wouldn't suggest trying to keep your peacock in with your tom. But that's the interesting thing about the peacocks is they were never caged. They had their home. They had the little cage that they slept in at night, but they roamed free during the day. They would be out in the middle of the road during the day. I would see them. They would just wander around. So, whereas with a turkey, I think a tom turkey might just take off. They might just go and start trying to make their own way. So I wonder, I guess that's not necessarily true because they've got free-range turkeys out there too. I guess turkeys are still sort of herd animals. Like you see the wild turkey herd out there where I'm from. They've got the wild turkeys out there, and they do stick together. So I guess if you had a group of turkeys, they'd probably come home to roost at night. I guess that's not that strange for birds to do that. So, as you can see, as I've been building this peacock feather, I've just kind of done a couple of offshoots, and then built out from in between those a little bit. What I found out from the previous one is you don't need a ton of glue, especially considering that when it comes time to actually adhere this to the piece of foam that I'm going to stick it to, you want some of the adhesive to be actually hitting the tile or the glass, not just sticking the glue underneath the tile to the foam, because then if this just basically white glue gets wet and releases the piece, then it won't be stuck with the water resistant mortar or synthetic, I forget what the other stuff is that I'm going to be using. It's a little more expensive. It comes in a caulking tube. I'll have to look at it again. Should be having a video for that here soon. I did some tests on it, and it looks like either one will work. So I've got this tube of caulking that I'm going to use first, just because it's already open and it needs to get used. So I'll just use that up, even though that would be the more expensive route. And then after that, I'll just switch to a regular old mortar. So, I'm still a little bit back and forth on which book I want to start with for the storytelling ASMR. Although, I really want to get that started. Reading is one of my favorite things to do. Growing up, reading was really the one entertainment outlet that I was allowed to do without extreme censorship. So yeah, extremely censored life, except for I had an outlet through reading. And so I read and I read and I read. I read as much as I could, as many books as I could, and if it had adult themes to it, I enjoyed it even more. Although, still to this day, there's a few defining books that were made for young adults that I feel everyone, there's so many books that I haven't read that I should have, but the ones that really were defining for me would be like Ender's Game or To Kill a Mockingbird was really one of my all-time favorites. The way I was able to connect with the character Scout. Even though she's a girl, but that doesn't really matter at all. I was able to connect on a human level with that character. That's how I felt, and it really, that book there really gave me what I would like to call just a little bit of perspective and critical thinking about the processes and systems that have been set up. I'm just rambling way off topic here. I don't even know why I'm mentioning my thoughts on To Kill a Mockingbird. Anyway, so with the peacock feather here, I'm still going back and forth on what color I want to do the background. You can see I've got a little pile of white pieces there, since that's what I had planned on using for the background. So I've got that little pile of white pieces, and I'm probably just going to chop that up and do a random rubble background, kind of like I did the last one. So that'll be the next video. For that video, I'm probably going to do it the same way as I did the Wandering Whispers Mosaic video, where I'll do all the clipping beforehand, just clip all the pieces, and then I will just glue them down in a video. And hopefully this time I'll remember to plug in my microphone and actually record the audio, so I'll be able to just slap it all together real fast. So yeah, I've done just like a kind of a straight line of green down from the center, and then I just use a straight line with just a little bit of an angle. Just a little bit of an angle, so that when you put your piece up against the stem, I guess is what I'll call it, the center straight line, it'll actually look like it's coming off a bit, rather than just having like a 90-degree angle there, where it's just not, it basically is going to make it look all blocky and extra pixelated, which is, fine, but just all those little things will help. This glue, it's basically just regular old white glue, but it has a weird sweet smell to it. Every time I use it, I'm just kind of like, what is with this? Are you like trying to entice kids to eat your glue, or what is the deal? Yeah. Sorry if my voice sounds a little bit different. My nose is clogged. I saw a bunch of nieces and nephews while I was out in Colorado, spending time with family, and sure enough, one of them got me sick. Now, the fact that I was a little bit bad and smoked a couple cigarettes didn't help my lung situation, so now I'm coughing and I've got a stuffed up nose. I don't know if I had previously mentioned it, but I was a smoker for several years. Basically had quit near the beginning of this year. As soon as I started thinking about making my Mosaic videos, not Mosaic videos, ASMR videos. As soon as I started making the ASMR videos, I quit. And I kind of made a little bit of a deal with myself that I was going to buy a decent camera. I mean, decent enough for me. A decent camera, a decent microphone, and spend a little bit of money on like some costumes and mosaic pieces and different things. And I was going to fund all of this by no longer buying cigarettes. So I spent roughly $5 a pack. I smoked about 3 packs a week. It's $15 a week. So that's $60 a month. So that's $700 a year. Wait, is that right? 5 packs. I probably smoke closer to 4 packs a week. So roughly about $1,000, $1,200 in cigarettes a year. And so I said, well, I'm going to take my tax money. I'm going to purchase my 3DO. I'm going to purchase my Canon, and I'm going to make ASMR videos. I'm going to use it as a catalyst for positive change in my life, starting with quitting smoking cigarettes. And it's been going really well, although my trip to Colorado wasn't a happy one necessarily. Although I won't get too much into that right now. So I was weak, and I smoked a few, more than a few. I smoked quite a bit, although, to be fair, I didn't really spend any money on them. So that part of the personal commitment is I stuck with. Not sure. I know that's still cheating. It's still cheating. However, since I've gotten back, I've been doing really well. Since I've gotten back to Oregon, been doing really well. Haven't really had a craving for one or anything. Anyway, thank you guys so much, and have a good night. Keep watching.